I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that there. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour, live, raw, and uncut sports talk. And as Combs says, the best damn sports talk on the face of this planet. So let's welcome Brandon Combs on the show. Brandon Combs, what's going on, buddy?
How you gonna steal my thunder?
That's
my job.
It's a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning.
Nation, welcome to the best damn sports podcast on the planet.
That is
Don't
right.
ever steal my stuff again.
Yeah, and last night we had some little bit of malfunctions. Did we have a hater in the background trying to sabotage the show? I would call it a hater a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Jealousy is a very, very powerful tool. But if you guys are not jealous...
It's funny, you said the word right there. Tool. We had a tool in the background.
Joe is still in Florida, so we'll leave that alone. But if you guys are liking the show, any part of it whatsoever, hit that like button and hit that subscribe if you watch on YouTube, youtube.com/manhour. But Wyatt, I know somebody that really loves your show, and that's your grandma. Big fan over there. She actually got top fan status just the other day. So
really,
Wyatt, welcome to the show, man. Like, how was your day?
It was good. Just spent a lot of time getting ready for the show today. I got 2 games coming up later on this week, Friday and Saturday. Also hosting a coaches show tomorrow with Jeffersonville's head coach. So busy week for me. And like I said, doing this show too. So I love it though. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
So give yourself a shameless plug. Where can people find this coaches show at?
WJHI. Just go to YouTube. It's my school's YouTube channel, and we'll be interviewing them in our studios, and then that's where it'll be. It'll be on WJHI on YouTube. 98.5 Red Devil Network.
And if you guys don't know anything about Jeffersonville, Indiana high school, they have probably the best studio that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It's like a $7 million studio that they have there or something ridiculous like that?
I don't know the number, but I know it's a lot of millions, and it's a beautiful studio. I love working in it every day.
It is like when I walked in there, I met your teacher. I don't know, back in football season, it was like August or September. I was kind of like awestruck. I'm like, wow, this is a high school studio.
Yeah.
And then he showed me like your guys' mixer board. Combs, no lie, this mixer board is 8 foot wide.
It's one step. Yeah, it's one step above what Dan Patrick uses on his show.
That's awesome.
Dan Patrick.
So before we get too carried away, let's go ahead and address this comment before we get too carried away today's show. Corey Anderson says Combs malfunction is hating on Rodgers.
Yeah,
man. Go ahead, Combs.
I don't hate on Rodgers. I say he's a top 5 quarterback of all time. I think what happened earlier was somebody had said something about, I think it might have been you, Buck, who posted, or was it Wyatt? Which one of you guys posted about?
It was Wyatt. It was the Jeopardy.
Yeah,
right?
Jeopardy. Yeah.
So Rodgers said, is there anything that he can't do? And I said, yeah, win another Super Bowl in Green Bay.
Too bad any of the Bears quarterbacks can't even win a Super Bowl.
At some point, that argument is going to be no longer relevant because when Watson does go to Chicago next year, they're going to be Super Bowl champs, right, Combs?
Amen.
Amen to that. Because before we get too deep in today's show, head over to manhour.com. We have some new merchandise up there. We have this Just Show Up shirt just launched today. It is a silhouette of Combs leaning on the Just Show Up. And if you guys have listened to the show any at all, that's Combs' go-to line. Just show up, right?
Just show up.
Just show up. So
Pittsburgh, show up. You'll win the game. Pittsburgh, just show up. You'll win the game.
Just show up.
Just show up.
How did that turn out? I'm just asking for a friend.
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up. No.
So my cousin is a huge Steelers fan, and I sent her a like a text. I don't know when like it was right after like the first snap went over Big Ben's head and they got a freaking touchdown. And she's like, my phone will be off for the rest of the day. Leave me the fuck alone. I was like, oh, my bad. I was just making sure you're all right. But
Yeah.
speaking of all right, guys, it was a couple days ago. Why, we like guys. Pre-show sometimes it goes off the rails just like a tad bit, but we're all friends here and we get to know each other more and whatnot. And I was explaining to you guys like how my son is like teething now. He is cutting like 6 teeth like at the same time, and he is sleeping like 1 hour a night. And Wyatt had the audacity to ask, when he cries, like, do you just let him cry or like what do you do? And
I didn't know.
Well,
you can't go like rub his teeth or like do that. I didn't know. I'm not a dad, and I don't want to be one for a long time. I mean, eventually, but like.
Well, I hope you're not with questions like that.
Yeah.
So
good point.
So my question is like, Combs, we are closer to age than like me and Wyatt are, but like I'm like right dab in like in the middle. Like I'm still too young to be old, but I'm too old to be young, right? So when you had your kids, like your first one, 8 or 9 of them ago, what did you do to cure those baby teeth?
I like how you threw that in there. It really, to be honest with you, it's just a little bit of Tylenol or ibuprofen to help them, do through the night.
I feel like that's a PG answer. What did you really do?
No, I'm serious. A little bit of that, and then it's sleepless nights and trying to make them comfortable. That's just what it is. I have heard of some people like rub like whiskey on the gums or something like that to numb it up, but I think that was more for like our grandparents and our grandparents' parents. More than it is now, because now I think that you would probably lose your kids if you did something like that.
100%, 100%. So I think that's where I developed my stutter. Was like my parents just like fed me Jack when I was like age, just like a little kid. They're like, here, shoot some out, boy.
Smack you in the back of the head.
They're like, oh, it burns. Like, oh, just get some more.
Guzzle.
Yeah.
So like nowadays, like they're saying to like basically just let them chew on like a ice cube, right? Because like it
ice cube
makes it numbs and whatnot.
They've got those little teething rings that you can put in the freezer, and it freezes them. Let them chew on that type of stuff. It's funny. We talked about the thing in the gums. So Brandon Jr., who's always on the show, chiming in and commenting. So I used to. So when he was just learning how to walk, we would have a little baby gate in front of his room because he would crawl out of his crib, but he couldn't get over the gate. And one night I was, up late. I was playing some video games, playing some Madden, and having a couple of drinks. And I had a Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I left about a quarter of it in the bottle in the chair. And I went to bed, and I wasn't even thinking. Well, the next day I came out, and he had learned how to crawl over the gate apparently. And he was sitting in my gaming chair, and playing with the remote. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And I walked over there and I went to grab the bottle to throw it away and didn't think nothing of it. And came back and picked him up to put him on my lap. And all I could smell was Mike's Hard Lemonade on his lap, on his breath. So he took a nice long nap that day. And, it's a good learning experience for him. But, yeah, that's, if it works, it works, I guess, right?
I've actually got kind of a similar story on that one. So I was in, I think, 5th grade. And I went over to my friend's house. You know
so this was last year then.
Yeah. You know them, Buck. It's the Tevenauts.
Yep.
Great people. I love Jamie and Greg. Excuse me. And Bryce is awesome as well. They're all great people. So I go over there, and they had a little. It was some kind of a peach, something with alcohol. I'm not sure if it was vodka or something, but it was in the fridge, and I went out there and I was like, oh, peach juice. Like, I haven't had peach juice before. This ought to be good. So I walk back in and I'm drinking it and I'm like, oh, like what? This is not what peaches taste like. And I walk inside. I'm like, guys, I think this is old. And they said, that's not peach juice. Give me that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, man.
first time drunk stories are like always the best, but that is for the after hours at some point when we, get the after show going again here. It'll be strictly
your friends in trouble for underage drinking.
That will be strictly a YouTube.com thing here once we do start the Man Hour after hours start back up, guys. But we do have a pretty exciting show happening here tonight. On the first hour of the show, we're going to talk college football. Obviously, Alabama walloped Ohio State last night. We are going to talk about if Ohio State even deserved to be there, if Nick Saban is as the coach, and then Wyatt is going to going to debut his new segment tonight called Crystal Ball. Wyatt, before we go to our first break, explain to people what the Crystal Ball is all about.
So pretty much Crystal Ball, it's something that I came up with when I was looking to make some segments, but pretty much what it is I kind of just debut what players I'm expecting to have a really good rest of the week, weekend, however you want to say it. But this one right here is strictly, we're sticking with NFL because we're in the playoffs. So I got 5 players on my Crystal Ball list that I'm predicting will have a great Saturday and Sunday.
And so, guys, this is going to be the debut of the Crystal Ball segment. And then on the second half of the show, the top hour of the 9 p.m. East Coast time, Combs is going to bring us some Major League Baseball power rankings. Maybe a little too early preseason power rankings, but nonetheless, baseball is right around the corner because Combs, you posted some big news on the Man Hour page, that the what's his face
Manfred?
Yeah, Manfred said that they are expected to play a 162 game season. So
and they're going to let the fans in the stadium. They're not going to require testing or anything like that. It's just going to be pod seating, kind of like what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. You have to buy a section, and all the people that sit there have to live in your household or whatever the case is. But, yeah, I mean, look, it seems to me like baseball said, you know what, we're tired of this COVID stuff. We actually need to make money this season, so here's what's going to happen.
I think that's how we're going to go with every sport, honestly. I think that the MLB is kind of running suit on this one because, I mean, I love baseball, but at the end of the day, the NBA and the NFL get better ratings than baseball. It's just that simple, so it doesn't make as much money.
Speaking all of baseball real quick, and back to your crystal ball, I've got this little playoff thing that I've been doing, and I told you about yesterday before the show. And if I win it, I win a free autographed helmet, and I'm 3 points back right now. I'm in second place out of 40, and so your crystal ball better be dead on, buddy, because I might take your advice when I set my lineup this week. No pressure.
You'll see after the next break.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break on the Man here. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk some college football and obviously the national championship that happened last night. All that, much more on the Man Hour, guys. manhour.com. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeister along, Brandon Combs, and Wyatt Williams, the men, the myth, the legend themselves, guys. If you did not like that beat, I don't know what is wrong with you, man. Like,
I liked it. What was it saying, bro? Bro? Was it saying bro the whole time?
It was me stuttering, trying to rap. It was like, no, yeah, it was just a
That whole 2-minute break was one sentence from Buck.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson is right. Exactly. Alrighty, guys. So
it's so terrible, but it's so funny at the same time. It's like
as Brandon Combs comes and chimes in and says, "Let's go." Tori Anderson says, "You're my boy, still Brando." Well, oh, that's cute. You guys got good little nicknames
You know what's
for
funny,
each other.
man? That's what my girlfriend and her entire family call me. So
Hey, Brando. Come on over and sit on Daddy's lap, Brando.
Tori thinks he's family all of a sudden. I ain't never going to be family with no Green Bay Packer fan.
Well,
sorry, Tori, I'll take you in.
Would you rather have Meatball or Brando?
I'm fine with either, man.
Oh, okay, Meatball. Roll Tide last night won the national championship, giving Nick Saban 7th on his career, 6th overall at the Alabama University. Can we go ahead and put "the" in front of their name now? The Alabama University. They walloped Ohio State last night, 52-24, scoring 28 points in the second quarter alone. Mac Jones had a great game, but Combs, let's go ahead and go to you first. Does this officially make Nick Saban the GOAT of all time at college football coaching?
I mean, I don't know. I think he was already there. I mean, look, he's been at Alabama for 12 seasons. 6 of those have ended in a national title. Half of his time spent at Alabama has been winning a national title. I don't know what else he needs to do. I'm tired of seeing it. I would love to see Alabama never win another national title as long as I live. That would be fine with me. But look, I mean, Nick Saban, he recruits well. He just does everything that he needs to do, and he gets the best out of his players. I mean, you look at guys like even Devontae Smith here just won the Heisman Trophy. This guy has been there, and you're just now hearing of his name because of how much talent they had before him. You know, he was behind a Jerry Jeudy and a Henry Ruggs, and even this year he was behind Waddle, but then Waddle got hurt, and then all of a sudden he blew up. This man had 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half yesterday. The first half. It's ridiculous. And Nick Saban keeps recruiting these types of kids. This is who comes to play at Alabama. This is who he finds. And there's really nothing you can say other than there's a reason why Alabama is always so consistently good. There's only one constant year after year in Alabama, and that's Nick Saban.
Good, Wyatt.
I'm kind of going to piggyback off what he said here. I thought he was the GOAT really before we kind of went into this one, but I guess that was kind of the staple, the signing of it. I watched that game last night, and it was a pure domination. Like, there's no other way to say it. Ohio State was beat at every mark on every side of the field. Even Fields, who I thought was going to be the leader of this run, really was. Mac Jones played better last night. It was just that simple. They were beat at every aspect. Coaching, they got out-coached. I mean, Saban had a play drawn up every single time where Devontae Smith had a lead on any corner that was on him. Double coverage, single coverage. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what coverage it was. Cover 1 to 6, whatever coverage you want to drop on him, man, zone. He was open. He was somewhere catching the ball. It was crazy. It was awesome to watch. And yeah, I mean, it was a spectacle for sure.
Yeah, I believe like after the show, like I turned on I turned on the game, and I heard the commentator say that Mac Jones had 4 touchdowns and 5 incompletions. So that just tells you like how well the game plan was going into this game. But look at Nick Saban's early career, guys. Do you guys realize he started coaching in 1989? 1989. Wow. I was 2 years old. His first year, he was at Toledo. He went 9-2 for the Toledo Rockets. Who? Exactly, the Toledo Rockets. I believe their only claim to fame was Rocket Ismail came out of Toledo. I think, and that was like what 2000 and something.
Their other claim to fame is NCAA football 14. I won 7 straight national titles with Toledo.
Yeah,
So,
and that's with Rocket. That's with Rocket Ismail, like speed 175, like on a thing. But then after that, he did go to the NFL. He did not do very well with the Cleveland Browns, but then he went back into the college ranks. Michigan State had a very good career at Michigan State, beating Ohio State over and over and over again throughout the early 90s. And they went to LSU, won a national championship, obviously. And really the only knock on Nick Saban's whole career is the fact that he would go to the NFL and just not be very good in the NFL. He is a great college coach, but the NFL was kind of like his what's the something that you can't catch, like what's that, or the you saying that people say, like the black like I don't know, it's his black sheep or what, I don't know what the fuck you want to say, but
I don't know either what you're trying to say.
I'm trying here. I'm like listening. I'm like, no, I don't know.
Cindy says it like all the time, but it is something that you want to do, but you just can't reach it because you're not because you just can't, right? It's just out of your reach, and the NFL coaching ranks is out of his reach, but he is dominant. I mean, 6 national championships since 2007 at Alabama.
Well,
that's just absolutely crazy to me.
That coaching in college is a whole different animal than coaching in the NFL, which is why I'm not sold on Urban Meyer as an NFL coach.
That's what I'm nervous about too.
You're in the college ranks. You're recruiting. You're doing all of this. You're
getting the best of the best.
You're basically picking your team. Essentially, I mean, granted, you don't get everybody that you recruit, but you're picking your team for the most part. And in the NFL, that's not how it's going to go all the time. And so I just, being a recruiter is different than being a leader, I guess, is how to best describe it. You look at guys who, just didn't perform well in the NFL, but are gods in college football. And there are certain guys that are just made for college football and shouldn't be in the NFL, Yeah, Adam Gase, Brian Kelly. There are a lot of guys that should never try the NFL because I think that they're
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly, sorry. Brian Kelly should never try it either.
He was the coach of the Jets, wasn't he, for like a little while?
I can't remember.
I was just naming off Chip Kelly. And Brian Kelly might have, but I just thought off the top of my head, I was like,
I think Brian
you reminded me of Chip Kelly.
I think he was somewhere in the NFL for a year, and then was like, yeah, I'm not.
But Brian Kelly. I mean, some of those guys. It's like some players too, because some players' games don't translate from college to the pros. Tim Tebow, probably one of the greatest college players of all time, and he basically got. I don't even want to say he won a bunch of games with Denver, won a playoff game, and then you never heard from him ever again. So
then he played for the Mets.
That, yeah,
He still does, doesn't he?
It still does, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know how his game would translate to the NFL. I would not want to see how it. There's no reason for him to try it.
Yeah, he is literally a god in Alabama. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. He tested positive for COVID on Wednesday, and by Saturday he was negative. Like, come on. Like, where else is that going to happen
I mean, it could have
anywhere?
been a false positive.
He
I mean,
reached in
you
his
get a
ear
bunch
and
of those, but-
reached all the way down and just grabbed it and pulled it out and just flicked it over there in the corner. I was like, yeah, we're good. I'll be there Saturday.
I just imagine from the bench warmers with that guy who comes out with a piece of paper that says I am 12.
Yeah.
Right? I think Nick Saban came in one of those pieces of papers that said I am negative, and that's how that all worked out.
$10 wrapped up in it. He's got documentation. Play ball.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of playing ball, Mac Jones balled out last night in the championship game. He looked like, I don't know, a man out there. He threw for 464 yards with 5 touchdowns. He went 36 for 50 or for 45. Obviously playing a damn good game, but many people still have him going late second round, early third round. Wyatt, is Mac Jones going to be the steal of the NFL draft this year?
He very well possibly could be. Oh, I don't know if I want to toss him into that category yet because I feel like Trask is going to be one of those guys. Like, I know I've talked about this many times on the show, but I feel like Trask is going to be one of those guys that falls to a good team that's one quarterback away, like the Bears, sure. Kind of like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I love Patrick Mahomes. He is amazing. He just, like, it's freaky how good he is, right? But let's be real here. He would not be what he is if he didn't go to Kansas City. With no matter how good he is, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be as good as he is if he didn't go to Green Bay. If he would have went to Detroit and Matthew Stafford was in Green Bay, Matthew Stafford most likely would have put up similar numbers. I don't know if it would have been as much, but it would have been very close.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know if I want to claim him, but I will say this: his draft stock definitely went up. I mean, I don't know how you can watch that game and not think, oh, this kid is at least a late first rounder. He was putting the ball where it needed to be on every throw, on any coverage, on any play.
See, that's what I don't know about Mac Jones. Like, there are a lot of times where I watch Mac Jones play, and it's kind of like watching Mitchell Trubisky play, where the receivers are making the play. That catch that Devontae Smith made when that throw was underthrown, and he came back with the toe drag, and that was just a sick, insane catch. Mac Jones doesn't impress me as much. And another guy who says his draft stock is, or who people are talking about his draft stock plummeting now, is Justin Fields because of this game, which that I don't understand anyway. I didn't understand the call for Justin Jones or Justin Fields to be up so high in the first place. Because the guy, you watch Justin Fields play, he holds onto the ball too long. He does things that you don't want your quarterback to do in the NFL. But I don't know. Like, I don't feel like Mac Jones is going to be a steal. I agree with Wyatt. I think Trask is the steal of the draft, which is I really want the Bears to pick him. I've been saying that for a long time. I want the Bears to go out and get Kyle Trask, even if he's not going to play the first year. I want him to be the guy that they go out and get, even if they do go and get a guy like I mean, I don't want to say if you go and get Deshaun Watson, because you really don't want to draft a quarterback if you pick up Deshaun Watson, but yeah, no, I just think that Trask is probably the steal of the draft, and Mac Jones and Justin Fields both probably fall to the second round.
So I think we need to establish what a steal of the draft is. Like, I think a steal of a draft being drafted in the third or fourth round and then leading your team to like the playoffs, like the next year,
like a Stephon Diggs, or
right.
Stephon Diggs is one of those guys who, what was he, a 5th round pick, and so was your boy over there in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
was a 5th round pick. Guys like that are definitely steals of the draft. The Bears got one of their own this year, and we watched him. Darnell Mooney was a 5th round pick. Just a phenomenal talent, and that just goes to show that your wide receivers and your running backs can be picked late and perform well.
Yeah, the reason why you can get good receivers in late drafts is because there are so many of them in the college ranks, right? Because you're like, each year there's at least 8 receivers on a college football team year in and year out, but there's only 3 quarterbacks like on a team. So right. it is definitely easier to find a wide receiver, but like as far as being a steal, I think Mac Jones has to go to a system where he is going to excel. They have to be able to coach into his abilities, not try to say this is my coaching style and you
like
have
New
to play
England.
into my coaching. Yeah, just like somewhere that is willing to help you grow and like help you be a professional, much like what Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes. So like looking at it, hindsight right now, I'm trying to figure out what teams that would take a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, and he is going to end up on a good system team. Maybe the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys would be a great pick for him because he has that pocket type of quarterback with the strong arm that wants to push the ball down the field, and then you complement that with a solid running game when Zeke is not being a little pansy. But we digress on that. How do you get $100 million and get like 69 yards a game? Like, come on. but yeah, so
you got paid.
Yeah, you got paid, and now you're getting laid, and you don't care anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly.
So, we're talking about draft stock. What about Devontae Smith? Did his draft stock rise? Because I've listened to some, mock draft experts who don't bring it up. One guy who I listen to a lot is Sully over there at Infinity Sports. That kid knows his stuff when it comes to the draft stock.
We're gonna have him on soon.
Studies it. He is not high on Devontae Smith at all. He had Devontae Smith down. Well, I was watching their mock draft last weekend. He had him down in like the 20s, getting picked in the first round. And then I looked at Tom McShay's draft board today, and Tom McShay says that Devontae Smith is up at third. So
yeah, that's where I have him. I think that game single-handedly guaranteed that he is going to Miami. I think that.
But what about
was
Waddle though? Waddle was supposed to be the best wide receiver on that team. Isn't Waddle, no. Even though he got hurt, isn't he still a better draft prospect?
I mean, he's still a good draft prospect, but here's the deal. I mean, the guy put up better numbers than any SEC wide receiver ever has, literally ever. Like, you go back and look at some of the greats, Julio Jones, even some of the greats on the last couple of years coming through these teams. But I think the debate for wide receiver is definitely between him and Jamar Chase. But, I mean, I'm telling you guys, Devonta Smith punched his ticket to that third overall pick to Miami because he's reunited with Tua now. That's exactly what they want. They're former teammates. They have chemistry. It's going to work great.
Well, first things first, Wyatt, Tua is not going to end up in Miami to start next year. And it is a proven track record of Heisman Trophy winners just not performing well in the NFL. Like, I don't know if their worth ethic has gone downhill. That they're like, oh, I was the best in college, so why do I need to work hard now, right? So it is
but
very difficult.
Bama
for me
players
to
that win the Heisman are always good. Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram. I mean, they're always good.
Not always, but yeah, I mean they're decent.
Seven times out of 10, Alabama players that win the Heisman are good, right?
Yeah, Bama puts a lot of really good talent into the NFL. So
I believe at one point in this year, Alabama had a starter at all 22 spots. So definitely putting out talent.
Yeah, for sure. I just, man, I get into it all the time with people that are just big Alabama, big SEC guys, and people, because they know I'm a Notre Dame guy, they're like, I even had one guy who said, hey, the SEC puts out more talent into the NFL than Notre Dame does. I'm like, well, you've got an entire conference up against one college football team, so congratulations. But I think that the SEC, Alabama, they definitely put great talent on the field. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are willing to sacrifice some of their academics for their football program.
Yeah, and I mean, just at the end of the day, I mean, talent is going to go where talent can like shine, and like right now, talent can really shine at Alabama for whatever reason.
And that's got to be on the person too. Like, I'm not the type of person that says, "Hey, I want to go where I'm on a loaded team." I'd rather be a really good player on a team that is competitive than to be a really good player that is overshadowed by the fact that we do nothing but win and we are loaded
right.
with talent. And that's why I don't know how good Mac Jones is, because look at all the talent surrounding him.
True.
So that's what gives me pause for concern with him coming into the draft, is I don't know how good he really is yet.
Yeah, and then just to complete this full circle here, like I see we have Zen, a Ohio State commit in the chat line. But so me telling this right now is going to hurt my feelings a little bit. But we saw it. Ohio State, they bent the rules to like let them in the Big Ten tournament or into the championship game. Let's be flat out honest. They bent the rules to let them in, and therefore they got the 6 wins to get into the college football playoff. Alabama finished the season 13-0. Ohio State finished the season 7-1. Did Ohio State really deserve to be in that championship game?
Yeah, I mean, because you could question, do they deserve to be in the college football playoff? But once they got in the college football playoff, yes, because they went out and they just absolutely dominated Clemson.
Yeah, they did. They flexed on them.
That right there was when I had to stop saying, they don't deserve to be here, is because they went out and did what they said they would do, and they dominated Clemson. Mm-hmm. I will never say that they didn't belong in the national title game. I don't believe that they belonged in their conference title game, but that's a different story. But they were there and they deserved to be there. The fact of the matter is that it didn't matter who was playing against Ohio State or who was playing against Alabama in this game. Alabama was going to do their thing. That's why I wasn't upset when Alabama beat Notre Dame. I was expecting it. And that's why I wasn't surprised when Alabama did what they did yesterday to Ohio State. And to be honest with you, I'm not so sure they wouldn't have done the same thing to Clemson.
Yeah, to be honest, like I was expecting Alabama to win, yes, but the way they won, it was like, whoa, I had to like sit back and like make sure I was seeing like the score right. I'm like, is this really happening right now? Like what is going on? But the simple fact of the matter is, if you sit back and you really look at it, what team would have gave Alabama a bad run? People are saying A&M, but did they lose by 40 some points earlier in the year?
Nobody would have given Alabama that test. And watching last night, I had it on in the background while we were on the show last night, and every time I looked up, I almost said it a couple times while we were on the air. I'm looking up, and somebody else was scoring it. It was back and forth until we got off the air.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I looked up, and all of a sudden Alabama's up by 3 scores. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? It was back and forth, back and forth. I think part of it was Justin Fields got hurt early in the game, and he was playing hurt. And,
Come on.
Oh, dude, he was hurt. You could tell every time he got up. There were a couple times where the referee was trying to help him up. Like, after he got hit, the kid was hurt. Something was going on with his ribs or something. But still, I don't think that really affected anything. I think Bama is still just a better team than everybody else.
Why? Any thoughts about the Ohio State getting in the championship game?
I think they deserve to be there. I don't think anybody would have contested with Bama, not with the way they played. I mean, think about it. Ohio State was definitely the second best team in the nation, without a doubt. But the problem is the gap from 1 to 2 was just so big that no matter who was there, they were going to question, did they deserve to be there, simply because, I mean, Alabama was going to annihilate whoever was there. It was just rough.
I agree.
So let's move on from this and like talk a little bit about regular season. Combs has repeatedly said that the NCAA college football regular season is watered down. It's watered down. It is watered down. He's tired of Alabama playing the Citadel. He is tired of Kansas State playing North Dakota State, even though we lose to them quite frequently now for some reason. But I digress on that. So this year we saw pretty much nothing but conference games from week 1 until the end of the season. Combs, do you want to see the college football repeat this process moving forward?
No, but what I do want to see is college football implement a committee to make the schedule. There is no reason, and let's take 2021 into account, okay? This is Alabama's tentative schedule for 2021. They play Miami to start off the season, which, okay, I'll give you that. That's not a powder puff game.
They're on the rise again.
Yep. Then you go Southern Miss, Golden Eagles, the New Mexico State Aggies, the Mercer Bears. I don't even know who the hell they are.
I've never even heard of Mercer.
I think that they're probably a Division II school in Alabama.
So the Mercer Bears, then the Arkansas Razorbacks, then you get
conference.
LSU, which is always a tough game. Ole Miss, which they play every year because it's conference. Tennessee, which they play every year. But all three, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Arkansas are all just, they're just cream puffs games. And I get that they're in your conference, so that part is what it is. And then you play Auburn, which they always tend to play Alabama tough. Florida, who always plays Alabama tough. Then you end the season with Mississippi State and Texas A&M. But there is no reason why you should be playing Southern Miss, New Mexico State, and Mercer Bears if you are the Alabama Crimson Tide. There's just no reason for it. That's 3 games on the schedule right there that gives you every reason to just go into the latter of your season being undefeated. And that's just, to me, it's a joke. I don't understand why they don't just step up. You look at teams like Notre Dame. Notre Dame plays Florida State, then Purdue, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, who was a very good team this season, Virginia Tech, USC, North Carolina, Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Stanford.
Jesus, that is a schedule.
Yeah. But why does Alabama, who just won a national title and went undefeated, play the schedule that they're playing?
Let me tell you.
I don't disagree with you, but here, go ahead, Buck.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Bud.
I don't disagree with you whatsoever, but I get why they're doing it because we've talked about this a couple times on the show. But excuse me, the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't look for who you've played anymore. They look at your record. If you're undefeated, you're in. It's that simple. Just as long as you play in a hard conference, play in a Power 5. Yeah, if you play in a Power 5 conference and you're undefeated, you pretty much punched your ticket, man.
That's why the College Football Committee should make the schedule.
I don't disagree with you.
That's the case that I'm making. Why this is all watered down. There is no if 3 of your wins come from Mercer, freaking Mississippi, wherever the hell they're playing, those 3 games, that shouldn't even. It's, I don't know. It's
if you want to see the ultimate, so the ultimate bias right now is the College Football Playoff Committee, 100%. If you want to see their bias even flex anymore, let them make the schedule. Alabama is going to be playing Mercer 6 out of 7 games moving forward. Come on now, Wyatt knows that. The world knows that.
If you do that, then I think you're full out admitting that you have a bias at that point because. They
do. It's obvious. Alabama hasn't missed the college football playoff.
Alabama, when you're winning 6 national championships in 12 seasons, those 3 games versus Mercer and the other 3 schools who I can't even remember their damn names, and I just read them.
Southern Mississippi.
New Mexico State.
Playing against Ohio State in those games. You should be playing against Michigan State. Hell, even look at Notre Dame. Play against Purdue. Play against Navy. Play against teams that are relevant.
Power 5.
The Mercer Bears.
So first of all, the Mercer Bears. So they are not from Alabama. They're from Makron, Georgia. They are Division I in the.
I never even heard of
Southern,
Makron, Georgia.
So in the Southern SoCon Conference. So it is the
never even heard of that
conference. So they are the Dixie Conference Championship from 1948 to 1954. So big props to them.
Oh yeah, hey, Harvard used to win national titles too. Maybe they should play against Harvard.
All right, guys, we're going to take a pause on the college football talk. We are going to get more into NFL talk. Wyatt Williams is going to give us his crystal ball predictions moving forward into this NFL divisional playoff weekend. All that and much more right here on the Man Hour.
What?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Man Hour. Head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR to get a $50 instant match. That is promo code MANHOUR at thrivefantasy.com. You can download that also on iOS and Android devices as well. But guys, welcome back to the show. We got Wyatt Williams and Brandon Combs themselves, guys. You can find each of them on Twitter, _Wyatt Williams and _Combs on the old Twitter machines. And I am _Buck. Wyatt, you need to up your Twitter game, son. _Williams. But nonetheless, guys, it is time for Crystal Ball. Wyatt, before we get into it.
Whoa. Twitter for Wyatt, I'm going to make your account. It's got to be _Youngin. It's got to be.
I'm down.
All right.
You send me the login info. I'll be there.
All
right, guys. So, Wyatt, before we get into the new segment of the Crystal Ball, explain to the viewers that are just tuning in what the Crystal Ball segment is all about.
It's Crystal Ball segment all about. I'm going to give 5 players who are relevant coming up. Right now, we're going to use NFL playoff players for this weekend. Basically, what we do is we look into our crystal ball, and I tell you guys from my crystal ball the best players coming up this weekend. And then you guys just react to it along the way.
Alrighty, guys, and feel free to interact with us in the chat as well on youtube.com/manhour. Myself and Combs are both in there right now chatting away, so feel free to jump over there and chat with us. So, Wyatt, who is the number 5 player to watch this weekend?
Number 5, starting this list off, I'm going to take the Zadarius Smith. He is a big body that is a freaky good pass rusher, and I expect him to get after Goff all game. He's going to be up in his face. He's going to be doing his thing. Ever since Preston Smith hasn't been what he was last year, Zadarius has picked it up. He has been single-handedly the only thing in the Packers' front 7 that has been worth 2 craps this year other than Kenny Clark. Those 2 things. That's literally been it. So Zadarius Smith's going to step up. He's going to force Goff to make some decisions that he doesn't want to. And Jair Alexander's going to be there. Adrian Amos is going to be there. Kevin King's going to be there. And they're going to be like, interception, my ball.
So first things first, nobody needs to be put pressure on Jared Goff to make him make bad decisions. That has been kind of his MO in the NFL since that. Was it 2 years ago? They had the high flying offense, and they went to the Super Bowl, and then they ultimately lost. But nonetheless, you don't. Come on, man! You're a defensive lineman as your guy to watch.
Hey, you watch and see.
Colin,
he's gonna be up in his face.
I don't even know who he's talking about.
You should.
As
a Bears
the first
fan,
thing he did, I was like, "What are you talking? Who?"
You'll know his name this weekend, I promise.
What position does he play, Wyatt?
Outside linebacker.
There you go.
Came from the Ravens.
I can't even pick that guy in my fantasy. What are you doing to me, Wyatt?
I had to throw. Hey, the rest are offensive. It makes you feel better,
God.
right?
That's all. That's all Combs cares about is offensive players that can go to Chicago next year.
Quarterback specifically.
Wyatt, who is your number 4?
Number 4 is going to be Stephon Diggs. We've all seen what he's done this year. He has been a dog on the field in Buffalo. He has been a constant threat no matter what down play coverage. It doesn't matter. The biggest thing is that we cannot skip over the Colts game. And here's the deal. You watch that game. He played great. He had a ton of great plays. He had me thrown because I was still at the time used to being on my fantasy season. I had Stephon Diggs. I was so excited. I was like, oh, man, big play to Diggs. And then I realized, oh, fantasy season's over. It doesn't matter. But still, it was cool. He made some great plays like he has all year, and I don't see that stopping whatsoever as they'll play Baltimore. Humphreys is a great cornerback, but Stephon Diggs is an even better wide receiver. He was an MVP candidate this year. He is going to go off in this game, and Josh Allen's going to be right there with him.
So, Wyatt, let me ask you this question, because obviously the Baltimore Ravens are known for their defense, right? They are known for scheming up a guy and basically taking him out of the game. Don't you think the Baltimore Ravens know that Diggs is their guy, and you should be looking for maybe somebody else that, I don't know, Cole Beasley, Kenny Still, somebody else on that wide receiver core that could have a big game?
Well, and I know I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong, but I think because of those guys, because of Cole Beasley, because of Cole Kmet, because of or not Kmet, it's Knox, excuse me, because of Knox, because of Singletary, because of Moss, because of Brown, because of Allen, it's going to keep this defense honest. Yes,
right.
Stephon Diggs is the best athlete out there, but all year he's been double teamed. All year he's been just defense is scheming straight for him, but yet he still continues to come through. I can't doubt him anymore. That's why I chose Stephon Diggs.
I like that pick because I had Stephon Diggs on my team last week, which got me into second place. And since I had him on my team last week, I get double points with him this week. So I really like that pick there.
Ooh.
There you go. How about number 3, Wyatt? Who's your crystal ball man of the week, number 3?
Number 3 is going to be Cam Akers. He has been running wild all toward the end of the year. And here's the deal. I love my Packers. You guys see it up here. Got the helmet there, the cheese head there. Got Aaron Rodgers and all of them right there.
Combs knows why what you're a Packers fan. Your wall is freaking Green Bay yellow. We know you're a Packers
that one's green.
Fan.
That one's green. But hey, he had 28 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown last week. His niche is not punching the ball in a ton of times, but his thing is he can take the workload. He can take the yardage. He always puts up a ton of yardage. And here's the deal. The Packers defense, outside of Zadarius Smith, who I mentioned a minute ago, as for run stopping, Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark, they've been bottom 5 in the league in rush defense all year. Right. So I can see Cam Akers coming out and having a big game against the Green Bay Packers. And Jared Goff's not 100% either, so they're going to want to give him the workload.
Yeah, and just stop me if I was running through a line. So.
That's a damn lie. You're 5'5", 500-pound ass. Come on, man. You know better than that.
So 5'5", 500 pounds. God, what? Why you gotta do me like that?
Hey, facts are facts, homie.
That's rude.
Well, so like I got him in. He goes sideways. Sorry, guys. Combs is 5'7". He is not 5'5". My bad. But just to answer your point there, Wyatt, looking at Cam Akers' yardage carries the last 5 games, the Rams are 4-1 in the last 5 games, and in those 4 wins, Cam Akers has 21 rushing attempts, 29 rushing attempts, 21, and then 28 last week versus the Seahawks. The one game they lost to, the New York Jets, he had 15 touches. So, I mean, I like that a lot, man. That's a great pick.
Oh, yeah. That's my guy. I got him in my fantasy league and my dynasty. Picked him up at the end of the year. He's one of my keepers, man, for sure.
Coleman, you thought on that before we move on?
Yeah, I think you're a jerk.
Players gotta shoot a shot, man.
I like the Cam Akers pick. Look, Cam Akers is a really good running back, a really underrated running back in this league right now. And the Packers, that's their weakest link is stopping the run. So
that's their only weak link.
No, it's not. But
it is.
What's the other one?
Let's be honest. That is the only weak link.
What's the other one? Aaron Rodgers in January.
Moving on. Number 2, Wyatt.
Number 2, and this is so fitting. Who else? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. He has been a great leader all year long. He has put up ridiculous numbers. MVP without a doubt. And most importantly, he is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to figure it out. He's going to make big plays. He's going to make plays where Combs is like, oh, man, if only we'd have drafted that guy. Or, oh, man, if only we could get that guy. Combs is going to be drooling at the mouth. And here's the deal. He's not going anywhere. All right? Aaron Rodgers is my number 2 guy on the crystal ball predictions.
We could have drafted Aaron Rodgers, but we passed on him like we did with Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Didn't 31 other teams pass on Aaron Rodgers too, or something like that?
24,
yeah.
They are great at passing on really good quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers has had a really
specialty.
Aaron Rodgers had a really good season. 4,200 yards, just under 50 touchdowns. But Combs is right, Wyatt. Aaron Rodgers does not perform very well in January. Yes, he is 5-2 in the playoffs, at home, but his number 2. Come on, man. You better have a good number 1.
You all should know who number 1 is. Come on now. Number 1 is none other than the GOAT, TB12, Tom Brady. He is going to ball out this weekend. He is going to beat the Saints simply because, okay, I'm not going to bring stats into this. I'm not going to bring schemes into this. I'm not going to bring anything but this. This is the one thing I need. Breeze is not, nobody is not ever going to beat Tom Brady 3 times in a season. It is physically impossible. It will not happen. That is why the numbers say there's no way that the Saints come out on this one, because Brady doesn't lose twice to people in the same season, let alone 3 times.
So in Brady's defense, or I guess in other people's defense, the AFC East has been so bad. I mean, let's be flat out honest. When you play the Miami Dolphins twice, when you play the Buffalo Bills twice and the Jets twice for the last 20 years, and they're not even over 500 half the time, come on, man. Can that stat really be relevant right now?
Hey, there's been good teams along the way, though. I mean, think about it. Okay, I'm going to bring up a name here, and you are going to grill me for this, but you can't deny he had a great rookie year, possibly even the greatest rookie year of all time. That's going to be Mark Sanchez. Think about the Mark Sanchez Jets team before the butt fumble. They beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs. They went all the way to the AFC Championship. They were a great team. They were a great, great team. There's been a lot of teams over the years that they've had to kind of pit up against. The Dolphins had a couple of good years when they had Jay Ajayi and Ryan Tannehill. They were 10-6. They had a great year that year.
They were not good. That was all smoke and mirrors, man. That was all smoke and mirrors.
They made the playoffs.
I don't care. That was all smoke and mirrors. What did they do in the playoffs? They got destroyed in that first game.
Moore had probably the hardest quarterback hit on the sideline that I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. I thought he met Jesus Christ. I'm not kidding you, dude. I really thought he met Jesus that day. It was terrible.
So I don't mind the Tom Brady pick at number 1. I think that Tampa Bay is hitting its stride, and I know the numbers. I know they've been outscored by 46 points to New Orleans this season. But one, like Wyatt said, it's really hard to beat somebody 3 times in the same season,
let alone the GOAT.
and let alone Tom Brady. But
right.
I also think that they are a different team now than when they played New Orleans either time that they played New Orleans.
Week 1 and week 9. I mean, that was 3 months ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think that right now they are hitting their stride and they are starting to get to their peak. And I think that right now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably, like I said yesterday, the second best team behind Green Bay. And they might even be better than Green Bay because of Tom Brady.
So, Combs, do you think there should be anybody else on Wyatt's list and maybe take somebody off?
I'm surprised Josh Allen isn't on there. You had Stephon Diggs on there, but Josh Allen, I mean, in the last 6 straight games, he's had multiple touchdown passes. They haven't lost a game in 7. And I think he's going to go out and do more of the same in Buffalo against the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. I think that he could have been there, over, I know you had to get your boy Aaron Rodgers in there, but, I just think that he's just playing better ball right now. The Green Bay Packers, we've seen at times where their offense disappears. So you haven't seen it much this season, but last season their offense was very stagnant, and it's the same offense that's still out there. But, I mean, I don't know. I think that Josh Allen probably should have been on that list. Plus, he's the quarterback that I have getting double points from this weekend. So I really would like to send him on that list.
I will say I had 2 honorable mention guys, and Josh Allen 110% was one of them. You're 100% correct. I had 3 honorable mention guys. The second honorable mention guy was going to be Lamar, because he's coming off of a big week, and I think he could seriously go off again and possibly come away with the win. I don't think they will, but I think there's a chance. Jesus. But the third biggest, I'm going to jump back to defense here, is Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is set for a pretty big game this weekend against the Chiefs.
Baker Mayfield, too. Look, I don't want to give it away too early because we haven't gotten to our picks yet, but do not be surprised if Baker Mayfield has a big game.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, guys, let's go ahead and take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, coming up here on the Man Hour, Brandon Combs is going to go to his heart and soul. We're going to give you some preseason power rankings of the Major League Baseball style. So stay tuned right here on the Man Hour.
I would like to personally welcome you.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckkosh with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams, the men, the myth, the legend themselves. We have had an exciting first hour of the show. The second part of the show, we're going to lead it off with some Major League Baseball talk and Brandon Combs' preseason Major League Baseball power rankings.
Man, boys, it has been good day for baseball today. We had a lot of good, exciting news. You guys know me. I'm the baseball guru of the show here. These other two couldn't even tell you what a baseball was, let alone, help you out with any power rankings or anything like that. So I was excited. Manfred announced in the 162 game season, telling teams to get ready for it, and then telling your fans will be in the stands. I cannot wait to get back to Wrigley. But I digress. I will tell you there are a couple teams that are not on this list that a lot of people might be surprised about. I do not have my Cubs on this list. The Cubs are not in my top 10 power rankings preseason. They've gotten rid of too many pieces. They are probably going to be competitive in a really bad division, but they're not in the top 10. The Houston Astros are also not in my top 10 power rankings heading in. I think they've lost too many pieces as well. So without further ado, I will go ahead and give you my top 10 power rankings. We'll go 10 through 5, or 10 through 6, and then 5 through 1. So at number 10, I have the Miami Marlins. This team came out of nowhere last season, surprised a lot of people in the shortened season. But this starting rotation is absolutely phenomenal. Sixto Sanchez and Sandy Alcantara being your 1 and 2 are just ridiculous. These guys' arms are absolutely insane, and their bullpen is pretty deep too. So I really like what they're doing with Ross Detweiler and Yimi Garcia and Richard Blyer. So I've got the Marlins at number 10. At number 9, I have the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins are a very good team in a very good division. This is probably going to be a 2-team race. It looks like the Indians are going into rebuild mode. So I have the Minnesota Twins at number 9. At number 8, I have their division counterpart and probably the best baseball team in Chicago this season, as much as that pains me to say, which is the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox have absolutely done really good things. I'm not sold on the hire of Tony La Russa. I don't know how well that meshes with this young lineup. Their lineup is so good. Yasmani Grandal, Jose Abreu, Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and then they went out and got Adam Eaton back, and they still got Lurie Garcia. So I really like what the White Sox are doing. And then when they just added Liam Hendricks to bolster that bullpen, and Liam Hendricks is the best relief pitcher in all of baseball right now. So that was a really good add for them. So I have the White Sox at 8. At number 7, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, the American League champion Tampa Bay Rays are at number 7. They lost a lot of big pieces, but for whatever reason, the Tampa Bay Rays just always seem to keep themselves relevant. They still have Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Yarbrough, Michael Wacha, and Shane McClanahan, who a lot of people don't know yet, but that kid is you're going to know his name by the end of the season. Very young kid, born in 1997, so I think he's probably just under 10 years younger than our boy Wyatt here. And so I really like the Tampa Bay Rays at number 7. At number 6, I have the Oakland A's. It's a team that a lot of people seem to sleep on year after year after year, but year after year, they always prove themselves as a contender in the AL West. Sean Manaea is a bona fide stud in Major League Baseball. A very good number 1 that they have there. They got a deep bullpen, Miguel Romero, and then, their lineup with Matt Olson and Chad Pinder and Matt Chapman and Tony Kemp. These guys are very good. They did lose a little bit over there at shortstop. But that's my 10 through 6. I got Marlins at 10, Minnesota Twins at 9, White Sox at 8, Tampa Bay Rays at 7, and Oakland A's at 6. Guys, you guys got any issues with my 10 through 6, or do you not even know who any of those teams are?
At number 9, you have the Minnesota Twins. And quite frankly, I don't think the Minnesota Twins crack the top 10. I would slide maybe your Chicago Cubs in there. Yes, they lost some of their pitching depth, but they've also added a lot of pieces, in that season or in that time frame, like as well. But a team that many people are going to be sleeping on this season is my team, the Kansas City Royals. They are they're quietly adding a lot of pieces. They are adding some veteran pitching to round out that bullpen again. They're getting some outfield help. They're getting some infield help.
They're still 3 to 4 seasons away from competing in that American League Central.
They are still a top 10
Twins
power team. Come on,
so
man.
Damn good. They're not a top 10 power team.
Yes, they are.
They're probably not even a top 20 power team right now. But
I'm kind of gonna roll off what Buck said too. I want my Cubbies in there, man.
I get it. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I mean, I wear the hat every episode. I got the flag flying in the background. I love my Cubs. But you, Darvish, losing Caratini, losing Kyle Schwarber, you're probably losing Chris Bryant before the start of the season. Rumor has it he's going to be traded before the week is over. They're just losing too many pieces. They're going to be competitive in a really bad division, but this is going to be a division that you could probably win by going 500 at 81 and 81. It's not going to be a very good division. The Cardinals are going to have a down year. They still haven't re-signed Yadier Molina, which is a mistake if you ask me. But that whole division is going to be down. And so that's why I couldn't have the Cubs in the top 10. As much as I would love to put them there just to talk about the Cubs, but I just can't right now.
And then your number 6 team, the Oakland A's. Their pitching kind of has some red flags. Yes, they are a top 10 team.
Yeah.
Like I think they will win a lot of games. They even might win a playoff series. But as far as number 6 on the power rankings, aren't you giving them a little bit too much credit because their pitching staff is pretty weak?
No, I'm not giving them too much credit at all. Look, people overlook this team year after year after year. People overlooked them last year in the AL West. People were talking about the Angels. People were talking about the Astros and the Mariners. All they did was go out and go 36-24 in the 60-game season and win the AL West, and then upset the Chicago White Sox in the wild card round. People, they weren't paying attention to them in 2019 either, and all the Oakland A's did was go 97-65. This team, for whatever reason, it's Billy Beanball. I mean, that's all I can tell you. It's Moneyball in this this team, year after year, no matter what they have on paper, just finds a way to contend and finds a way to be a top team in the American League. 97 wins, and they were second in their division. So
It's because Brad Pitt played in the movie.
Jesus.
that's the
All
only
right.
reason you know the Oakland A's, isn't it?
So
Yes.
just to recap your first 5 teams here, you have number 10, the Marlins, number 9, Twins, number 8, the Chicago White Sox, number 7, you have the Rays, and number 6 coming in at the Oakland A's. Who are your top 5 power teams of the preseason?
All right, coming in at number 5. I know Tori Anderson in here talking about Boston having a fire sale this weekend. I know Angelo Glover's in here. I know a couple of you Boston guys are in here. Cover your ears, because the New York Yankees are at number 5. The New York Yankees, look, they need more pitching. They do have to go out and get more pitching. Trevor Bauer would be a great ad for the Yankees. They do need to re-sign LeMahieu as well, and not let him slip away. But this New York Yankees lineup is just, there's no holes in their lineup 1 through 9, and their pitching staff is still good enough to go ahead and get it done. So I've got the Yankees at number 5. At number 4, I have the Atlanta Braves. They are so good and so young and so talented and so much fun to watch. I love watching this team play. Their pitching staff is young and good. Their lineup is young and good. You got guys out there like a Freddie Freeman, who is just every single year he gets better and better and better. Ronald Acuna Jr. is a top 5 player in the league right now. So I really like what the Braves are doing. So I got them at number 4. At number 3, I got a team that is just like the Atlanta Braves and made a bunch of moves this offseason. And people are probably saying, why do I have them as low as number 3 and not higher? But I've got the San Diego Padres at number 3. They are going to do special things in the NL West. I really like what they're doing. I like the additions that they've made. They made going and getting Yu Darvish from the Cubs was huge. Getting Caratini to go with him, because Darvish is very comfortable throwing to Caratini, was huge for Darvish and the addition. And then going and getting the kid from Tampa Bay there, whose name I always forget.
Blake Snell.
Blake Snell. Those just 2 really good adds to a rotation that was already really good. The San Diego Padres are at number 3 for me. Probably could be a little bit higher. At number 2, I've got the New York Mets, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, but I've got the New York Mets at number 2. Look, I really like what they did. That rotation is really young and really solid. And then what the addition of McCann. I really like what the Mets are doing there. And then the big trade to go get Francisco Lindor was absolutely phenomenal for this team.
I did like
the
that.
New York Mets are going to be really, really good. I picked them last year to be sneaky good and win the NL East. I missed a little bit on that. They just weren't ready yet, but they're there. The Mets are good, and the Mets are going to surprise a lot of people. I've got the Mets at number 2 right now. And at number 1, until somebody unseats them and until somebody shows that they are better than them, the Los Angeles Dodgers are at number 1 right now. The defending world champions. It's always hard to repeat as a world champion, but Mookie Betts, a really good pitching rotation, and not to mention a really good pitching rotation that was without. God, I'm so bad with names and spur of the moment. But they were without the kid. I can't remember the guy they got from Boston after he pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays. Why can't I think of his name? David Price. They pitched without David Price last year and won the World Series, and they're getting David Price back this year. So that is a huge addition for them to get him back. So I've got the Dodgers at number 1.
Yeah, and just to agree with you, as the preseason rankings come out, you cannot not as a double negative there. You cannot not put the defending world champions not at number 1. So the Dodgers
it depends on what they lose and what they add, but they didn't lose anything, and they're adding David Price back to the rotation. So
Right.
They only got better,
Yeah.
So there's no reason to not have them there.
I do like the Braves at 4. I thought Braves are a young, exciting team. Like, I was really hyped on the Braves going into the playoffs. I thought they were actually going to make a World Series run.
Me too.
But they ran into the Dodgers, a very, very good team as well. Which I don't see the Dodgers on your top 10. Why is that?
The Dodgers,
Yeah.
they're number 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My thumb was over it. I was like, why?
I'm like, what are you talking about?
But one of the so like a guy didn't know your
We just got to talking about how you can't not
Buck,
have
is that
the defending world
Monster?
champions hat number.
Yeah, Buck, is that Monster in front of you, or is that some kind of like vodka? What you got sitting in front of you?
It is a son teething and getting like 3 hours of sleep at night. That's what's in front of me. But come in at number 5. You had the New York Yankees. The very first words out of your mouth says that they have no holes in their lineup from 1 till 9. Yeah. If they have no holes, why do you have them at number 5 and not at number 2 or 3 even?
Their pitching. Their pitching is going to be suspect. That's been the thing that's been holding them back for the last 3 years of winning the World Series. They have no starting pitching. And then you lose Tanaka. Tanaka's still out there as a free agent.
Yeah.
They need to go and I mean, granted, they did get a couple guys last year in free agency that they thought were going to throw them over the threshold, but they just didn't pan out as much as they thought that they would. But I would go out and I would get a Trevor Bauer.
That's what I was thinking too.
And I would bolster that rotation to make yourself a formidable. You're going to win the AL East going away. The Tampa Bay Rays, even though I do have them in my top 10 starting, I think a big part of that is just because they are the defending AL champion. But they've lost a ton. I mean, when you lose Blake Snell, that's a huge piece to lose. And so I think they take a step back this year. I think the Yankees win this division easily this year.
No, I definitely don't agree, or I definitely don't disagree with you on the Dodgers being one for sure. I mean, there's talent at every single position there. I mean, Peterson, all of them there, Kershaw, Mookie, like you said, they're just a ridiculously talented team all the way around. So I wouldn't change that whatsoever. But I will say, I would for sure have the Padres at 2, without a doubt. I mean, look at all the additions they had.
But look at all the addition the Mets have. I mean, the Mets just added Francisco Lindor, and you know who got thrown in on that trade? Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco, the Indians' #1 pitcher, who all he did last year was have a 2.91 ERA in 12 games that he started. Like the guy is a stud, and so you add that to a rotation that already has Jacob deGrom, Marcus Stroman, and Seth Lugo and Steven Matz, and if they get Thor back, I mean that's just it's a ridiculous rotation.
I will say
their bullpen is very deep as well.
You're gonna. I think you might hate me for this, but I will say, if the Yankees do snag Trevor Bauer, I will have the Yankees as the best team in New York, because they've already got Cole. Then they'll have Bauer. They got Judge. They got Stanton. I mean, they got playmakers at every single position as well.
But so do the Mets. I mean, the Mets got McCann. They got Pete Alonso. You still got if you go out and if the Mets can go out and they can get LeMahieu away from the Yankees, you put LeMahieu at second. You got J.D. Davis at third. You've got Francisco Lindor at shortstop. You still got Jeff McNeil, Dominic Smith, Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto. I mean, you are so loaded in the outfield. All they can hope for, if the National League says, you know what, we are going with a DH in 2021, the Mets are the best team in the National League by far.
And then
better than the Dodgers.
And then the Braves. I think they're interchangeable at 3 and 4. Either way, I would have them at 3 and 4. Like you said, super young roster. They're great all the way around. They surprised everyone in the playoffs last year. But they, like I said, they faced the Dodgers. There's literally nothing you can really.
And they've done nothing this offseason. They have not done anything. They need some back end of the rotation help. They need some bullpen help, and they've done nothing this offseason. So I think 4 might have been a little high for them, but I really do like what they're doing there in LA.
What about Bauer?
Bauer's a fit everywhere. I mean, there are really 30 teams in Major League Baseball where if Bauer goes to, he immediately makes them better. But the thing about Bauer is Bauer's not – I think Carrasco for the Mets was a better ad than Bauer. Bauer is not what he was in that shortened season. If you put Bauer in a 162-game season, he's still a very good pitcher, but he's a 3.5 ERA, almost 4 ERA type guy who just pitches a ton of innings for you.
So basically what we're all just sitting here waiting for is wherever Bauer goes, and then we'll all have our updated power rankings.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he could, if Bauer goes to the Yankees, I could see them hopping over. I could probably hop them over the Braves or the Padres. I mean, you still got a lot of good free agents out there. I mean, Liam Hendricks just signed, but we still got Bowers out there. You've still got Real Muto's still out there. LeMahieu's still out there. The kid from the Astros is still out there. Can't think of his name. But, yeah, I mean, you got a ton of really good free agents still out there. So once all those free agents sign, these may juggle around a little bit, but we'll see.
Sure.
Two teams that you are sleeping on right now, the Cincinnati Reds and the Kansas City Royals.
Not sleeping on Cincinnati Reds. They just lost Trevor Bauer. They don't have a rotation. That lineup is not very solid. Not only did they lose Bauer, but they also lost Yasiel Puig. So
he hasn't done nothing for them.
Come on.
Except for be a punk.
Exactly. All right, guys, that is Brandon Combs' preseason MLB Power Rankings. That will be up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk. We'll put that posted as soon as the show is over. But in the meantime, to finish out the show, guys, we got some more NFL headlines. We're going to talk a little bit of Doug Peterson and Dan Quinn possibly going to the Dallas Cowboys. All that and much more right here on the Man Hour. Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. You can find us every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on 96.1, the Big X Sports Radio, right here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Or you can also stream that at BigXSportsRadio.com. That is every Saturday morning, 9 a.m., BigXSportsRadio.com. Welcome to Boys Back, Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams themselves, guys. We've had a great show so far. We talked a little bit of Major League Baseball power rankings, preseason power rankings. We talked about the GOAT, Nick Saban himself. But it is time to talk a little bit of NFL football. Clearly, yesterday we broke the news, or we didn't break the news. Like we talked about it here on the Man Hour that Doug Peterson was fired or relieved of his duties from the Philadelphia Eagles. So therefore, the ownership is clearly.
We broke that news.
Yeah, we broke it.
Adam Schefter works for us.
Yeah. I pay him $3 an hour to tweet all day long, but nonetheless, the ownership from the Philadelphia Eagles are clearly choosing Carson Wentz over Doug Peterson at the end of the day. So Wyatt, I'm going to kick it to you first, man. You are you basically are best friends with the Eagle fanatic over there. Does this put more pressure on Carson Wentz in the 2021 season?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you fired your head coach over it. It's kind of like, you want one half or the other, and then you can't have both. You got to get rid of one. It was an awkward situation, and one had to go. Personally, I think both should have gone. I think Doug Peterson should have gone a while ago, but still, I think he should have gone this year as well. And then I think Wentz needs to get traded. The contract is too much, A, and B, I think they can really get some good assets that they really need to be a good team out of him. I mean, I think Indianapolis would really give up some good players for him, and maybe even, I know this might sound crazy, but maybe even send him to Houston, get Deshaun Watson out of him. That's a possibility as well. I mean, we still don't really have a favorite for Deshaun yet, so I don't know. It definitely puts a lot of pressure on him, especially due to the fact that he just signed that huge contract, then didn't do anything this year. He got benched. That was the biggest headline that Carson Wentz made this year, was him getting benched.
What would you give up for Wentz if you were the Indianapolis Colts?
If I was the Colts, a first-round pick.
You would give a first-round pick for Wentz? Combs, would you give a first-round pick for Wentz?
No. I wouldn't even give a second-round pick for Wentz.
Is there too much pressure on him going in this year?
No, there's not too much. Look, I'm not even sure that he stays in Philly, to be honest with you. Wyatt threw out a couple of wild cards there, trading to Indianapolis. I think maybe they'd give you maybe a fourth round pick, and I don't know, maybe one of their backup wide receivers or something, but they're not giving you anything of value, especially because they know you're caught between a rock and a hard place, and there's no way you're getting him for Deshaun Watson. You give him Deshaun Watson, you're going to have to give him your entire 2021 draft. For Deshaun Watson, you can give me Carson Wentz and all of your picks in 2021, and we have a deal. That's the
Joke's
only
on
way
you, they have like
Deshaun
two
Watson.
picks.
Well, see, so even less of a chance.
They've been historic, but the Texans have been historically known for making stupid.
Right, that's why he's coming to Chicago for some flaming hot Cheetos and a deep dish pizza.
Shut up.
And
with
Mitch
that.
Trubisky.
Oh my god!
So why Carson Wentz to Indy does make sense because of the whole Frank Wright connection there, but Indianapolis just drafted a quarterback last year by the name of Jacob Easton.
Yes.
Jacob Easton had a chance. Yeah, he had a chance to sit behind Phillip Rivers and really learn how to be a pro's pro. I think Jacob Easton is going to have probably the best career out of all of the rookie quarterbacks out of this class. Yes, better than Herbert. Yes, better than Tua. Better than Hurts. I think Jacob Easton is going to have the best career because he is in the best situation. Carson Wentz and Frank Wright did great things, right? Frank Wright and Jacob Eason are going to do great things. So to add to
he's in a better situation than Tua.
Yeah.
Tua missed the playoffs, being 10-6 this year.
Okay, the Colts made the playoffs, and they got a great defense on that side.
At 10-6.
Yeah, and also
I think the thing that he has more than Tua is the offensive line there in Indianapolis. That offensive line is really, really good.
It is. It's young. They're all on super young rookie most of them are on super young rookie contracts. They did just lose AC. Anthony Costanza just retired. But if they go out in the draft
Carson
this year,
Wentz there does make a lot of sense. I don't know what you're talking about with Jacob Eason, but Carson Wentz makes a ton of sense there. If you're telling me for Carson Wentz, to come in instead of me having to deal with Jacob Eason at quarterback, I'm taking that deal every day of the week if I'm a Colts GM.
So if I am the Colts GM and I'm not 100% sold on Jacob Eason yet, I would entertain a Carson Wentz deal, but Carson Wentz has to come in knowing that he is there to basically be a what's the word I'm looking for? A person to teach Jacob Eason how to be a professional, because I think the Colts got Jacob Eason like the third round.
He's going to mentor Jacob Eason.
So you're saying he's going to mentor for like 3 years and then be
That's
gone?
about all that Carson Wentz has left anyway, isn't it? About 3-4 years maybe?
No, he's still young.
Yeah,
it depends on the injury.
He's not going to be a Tom Brady
contract.
or Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
He's not playing until he's 40.
Are we? Honestly, guys, I don't think we want to see that in the NFL ever again. I mean, like this is just I think the era that these guys got drafted, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Breeze, Big Ben, is like they were very, very protective of the quarterbacks, right? Now
Well,
they're starting to let the
quarterback oriented now. Mobile quarterbacks aren't going to last till they're 45.
No.
Exactly. So, but I mean, Carson Wentz, I believe he does have 3 years left on his contract. So I don't know what the dead salary cap is, and I don't know all that crap whatsoever. But right now, Wentz to the Colts just doesn't make sense in my mind. Besides the Frank Reich connection from a couple years ago. With that being said, there is hella pressure on Carson Wentz this year to perform. Lincoln Riley is reportedly going to go interview for that Eagles job, and Lincoln Riley and Jalen Hurts has connections from Oklahoma, right? They went to the college football playoff with each other, so obviously Lincoln Riley would have more favor for his guy, right?
Which is why the Eagles have to move Carson. I don't think there's any way they don't move him. But let me ask you guys this then, real quick: who's more likely to be traded this offseason, Deshaun Watson or Carson Wentz?
I would say Deshaun Watson because he is so unhappy. Because
Carson Wentz isn't happy either, though.
Carson Wentz isn't happy because he played bad and he got benched for a rookie. You have the right to be upset at yourself for your play, right?
But how many times do you say, Buck, that once you go to that rookie, you can't go back? So Jalen Hurts didn't play
once you go to a
horrible.
second string, you can't go back in the season. I'm not saying it has to happen the
Jalen
next
Hurts
year.
played well enough to earn himself at least a shot to play for the starting job, right?
If there is a preseason next year, yes, I think you have a quote open competition.
But that's what Carson Wentz doesn't want. He doesn't want to compete. He wants to be named the starter now before he moves forward. Otherwise, he's going to demand a trade. They're going to have to move him.
So let's be honest here. Do you think Mitchell Trubisky would have played the way he played this year? You can say he played bad, but his numbers were better this year than they were last year, right? If they didn't have an open competition for that starting job with Nick Foles, would Mitchell Trubisky came out and performed the way he did?
We scored 3 points in the playoff game.
Let's not worry about that. About that last game, they ran into a great Saints team that is clicking on all cylinders right now.
I don't think you can put Trubisky in the same, because Trubisky had Nick Foles pushing him. Nick Foles is not very good. Trubisky is not very good. Carson Wentz was a very good quarterback heading into this year. He just had a bad year, and Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts is somebody who can probably be a if not a starter, at least a very good backup for you for a lot of years to come. That's not something you can say about Trubisky or Nick Foles.
Let me ask you guys this question. Do you think we have our answer come April's draft, which way the Philadelphia Eagles go in the draft of what quarterback they go with? Meaning, if they draft offensive line, they're going with Carson Wentz, but if they're drafting more of a wide receiver type of people, they're going with Jalen Hurts.
What pick do they have? They have 3?
They have number 6. Yeah.
Oh, number 6. Okay. Here's a wild card for you. What if they go quarterback again?
That would be the dumbest move ever. I mean, you have
They very well could, but it would be a stupid move on their part.
I mean, if you're moving on from Carson Wentz and you're not sold that Jalen Hurts is the future, which I'm not sold that Jalen Hurts is the future of Philadelphia, why not let Jalen Hurts play for you next season and bring in a Justin Fields or a Kyle Trask or this kid from what's his name, Zach
Wilson, BYU.
Zach Wilson, or even the kid that a lot of people are sleeping on from the Bisons. His name always escapes me too, but I think that kid's a very good quarterback. Could probably be one of the best quarterbacks to come out of the draft.
So let me tell you this.
Where is Carson Wentz from too? Carson Wentz is to North Dakota State as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this, why that would not happen. If you want to draft a quarterback number 6 overall, you are drafting a quarterback to potentially be your starter for next year and beyond, a franchise changing move. Why would you want to get rid of a veteran like Carson Wentz for a rookie that played, or I guess he would be a second-year player that started 3 games this year for them, And both of those
Because
players
that
would
veteran just had
digress
the
at that
worst season
point.
of his career.
Yeah, but he is still a veteran. He knows how to watch film. He knows how to prep for the games. He knows how to come back from an injury, right? Jalen Hurts this will be his second year in the league. I think if you draft a quarterback 6th overall for the Philadelphia Eagles and you have Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback, both of those quarterbacks will digress and both be bust.
I don't necessarily think you're wrong either. I don't think they should go quarterback in the draft at all. I mean, it would be cool to see them go for a guy like Trey Lance out of North Dakota State or Zach Wilson even. I get what you're saying, Combs, but I don't know. At that 6th pick, it's going to be tough. I think it'll all depend on who's on the board. I don't think it'll depend on who's the starter. I don't think it'll depend on that necessarily. But more or less, I think it'll depend on who's on the board. If Jamar Chase falls, if Devonta Smith falls, which he won't, but if he does, they take him. I think it'll all depend on which receiver is available, which linebackers are available, which offensive linemen are available, and even possibly which quarterback is available. I mean, this is crazy ridiculous. I know there's no way this happens, but say Trevor Lawrence falls. That 6th pick. If I'm Philadelphia and Trevor Lawrence is on the board at 6, I am taking Trevor Lawrence. I am not looking back. Carson Wentz and Hurts are gone, and Trevor Lawrence is the future of my team.
What if Zach Wilson is there?
I think Zach Wilson will be there.
The latest mock draft has Zach Wilson getting picked as the second quarterback. I believe they had him. Todd McShay had him going at number 4 or number 3.
So if you guys really sit back and look at the draft, the only in the top 5 picks, the only team that really needs a quarterback right now is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Minshew he is not good. He is not a starting quarterback whatsoever.
I think Atlanta could need a quarterback too, though, and they got the 4th pick.
Atlanta, yeah.
That's
who we had Zach Wilson going to.
So
Atlanta.
Yeah,
let's say Atlanta trades down in the draft, right? Because they're let's be honest, there are 5 really good quarterbacks in the draft. You have Trey Lance, the kid from BYU, Trash Fields, and Trevor Lawrence, right?
I think Atlanta trades up before they trade down, but
trade up to get a quarterback.
Yeah, I think if anything, they trade up with the Jets.
I could see that.
Wouldn't that kind of be a waste, though? I mean, you're trading up two picks to get the same guy you get at 4.
But if you're threatened
at
the fact
the Jets are going to take a quarterback.
Yeah. If you're threatened at the fact that the Jets could take Fields, or if you're threatened at the fact the Jets could take a quarterback that you want, whether if that guy is Trask, whether if that guy is Fields, whether if that guy is Wilson, I could definitely see them trading up to that 2nd pick, because here's the deal, unless if the Jets plan on drafting that tackle out of Oregon, that Sewell guy, I don't think there's anybody else they take with that pick. Maybe Devonta Smith, maybe, but I think that quarterback protection at this moment for the Jets is more important than weapons. Yes, it would be awesome to have a guy like Devonta Smith. Yes, it would be awesome to have a guy like Jamar Chase. But at the end of the day, Darnold is not invincible. Darnold is not going to be invincible if you continue to have him play behind this offensive line. What was the number 1 knack behind Andrew Luck? I mean, now the Colts have a great offensive line, but at that time, it was terrible. It was bottom 5 in the league.
That's why he retired.
That's why he retired, because he got beat up so much for so many games, and he was a great quarterback. Andrew Luck was a great quarterback, tier 1, tier 2 guy, and I think Darnold has the potential to reach that. He's just, first off, you got to get protection first. Then we'll worry about weapons. But I think first off, if they don't go with
that's why
the
everybody
Sewell
thinks if
guy,
they stay at 2, Penny Sewell is off the board.
Yeah. If they don't go with Sewell at that 2nd pick, and they go with a quarterback, or they pass on Sewell, I think that would be a really bad decision, simply because they've already got – I mean, I know the offensive line hasn't been great for them, but it hasn't been the worst offensive line in the league for sure. I mean, Mekhi Becton, coming out of Louisville last year, they drafted him. He is a unit at – what is he? What's almost 7 foot tall, 385 pounds. He is a giant. and then you add a guy like Sewell on the other side. Those two guys have potential to be the two best tackles in the league here in 5 years.
You add Zen Mahalski.
Exactly.
The Jets are going to be really
Put Zen
good.
Mahalski at guard, Isaac Hatfield at center.
Isaac's got to gain about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
No.
Isaac Hatfield will play a long snapper for him.
Yeah, there you go. So, guys, let's go ahead and move on past the Philadelphia Eagles and the Doug Peterson situation. There are obviously some head coaching opportunities open. The Jaguars job is still open, allegedly. The Chargers job is open along with the Jets, and then obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. Combs, if you are a head coach right now, what team would you like to go to?
Oh, hands down, the Chargers job is the best job available. I think the Jaguars is probably a close second because of the draft stock that they have there and the weapons that they have there. But hands down, it's the Chargers. I want to go there. I want to coach Justin Herbert. He's going into his second season. I want to have the next, 8 to 10, 12, 14, 16 years of Justin Herbert because the Chargers are poised to do really good things in San Diego, and they're in a really good spot in the draft as well still, even with Justin Herbert. They are in prime position in San Diego or Los Angeles now to do really good things with the Chargers. I would go to the Chargers, and I wouldn't even think about it.
Even though you are going to be battling the Kansas City Chiefs twice a year, the Las Vegas Raiders twice a year, and a really under a slept-on Denver Broncos team.
You and the Kansas City Chiefs will be a 1-1A over the next 10 to 15 years, having Patty Mahomes and Justin Herbert at quarterback.
As a Chiefs fan, you are sleeping on the Broncos, man. I'm telling you, you are sleeping on the Broncos.
I'm not sleeping.
Sherlock is a good quarterback.
Yeah. Wyatt, you are a head coach in the NFL. Where would you want to go?
Drew Lock is a good quarterback. Oh my God.
He's not bad. He really isn't. I don't think he's terrible. He's got some weapons as well coming around him, an offensive line that isn't too bad, especially a defense that's backing him as well. Denver's always got a good defense, and Denver is one of those franchises that historically, yes, they've had bad years, but they always rebound. Denver is one of those franchises that is always, out of 10 years, they're always going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs every single decade. They're always going to be a relevant team. No matter how bad they are for certain years, they're just in a little bit of a down spot right now. That's one of the teams. And then you have the Las Vegas Raiders. They're on the ups. I think if they wouldn't have had such a bad ending to the year, they for sure would have been a playoff team. And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is the future of the NFL. Yes, Herbert is great. He seriously is. And Herbert is great. Herbert is awesome. I love watching Herbert play. He's got some decent weapons around him. Eckler's a great receiving back. He's got two awesome wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, a great tight end in Hunter Henry. But it doesn't escape the fact that you got to play in the AFC West. At the end of the day, you have 6 tough matchups all the time.
But
where when I look across
Herbert
the way,
is a more mobile Tom Brady.
Say it again.
Justin Herbert is a more mobile Tom Brady. I watched this kid play. I've watched the way that he composes himself, the way he acts in the pocket. He doesn't care who's coming through the line. He will stand there and make his passes. This kid,
he doesn't care now. Give him 3 years.
Justin Herbert is a mobile Tom Brady.
Herbert is incredibly smart. We saw this at Oregon as well. I said this. I can pull it up right now and send it out on the Man Hour Facebook page. I had Herbert going 5th overall to the Miami Dolphins. I thought for sure he was going to be the best, if not the second best quarterback in this draft. He was slept on heavily coming out of Oregon. He's a smart kid. He is a super smart kid.
Very true.
Back to the question, I would jump across the country and look at the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles play in a terrible division. It's horrible. And they have a ton of guys where, yes, there's a lot of dysfunction all throughout their franchise. Sure, they can't figure out who their quarterback is every year. They've always got 2 options at that. But when you also break it down, they play in a terrible division, and they got a lot of assets that you can trade and rebuild this team. If I was the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, I would go straight to my GM and owner, and I would say, here's the deal. You give me 10 years, not 10, you give me 5 years. I am going to take this team and we are going to not trade everything away, but we're going to trade a ton of our assets away because we need to reset. We need to take a step back. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. And right now, we're just swinging around and we're not catching anything. We're losing all kinds of draft picks. So they need to take a step back. I think a trade of Carson Wentz is 100% appropriate. I think that's what needs to happen. And I think some weapons need to be added to the offense, especially some protection needs to be added, and the linebacking core needs to be worked on. Secondary was good. The pass rush wasn't bad with Graham and Fletcher Cox. I don't mind those guys. They're great. But I think the linebackers has been the big hole on defense. And then on offense, it's been pass protection and weapons. I mean, so I think I would definitely take the Philadelphia Eagles.
I see what you're saying, but I think you're sleeping on the NFC East, like East as well. We said the Washington football team is pretty much a quarterback away of being a pretty damn good team. I mean, we saw it. They went toe-to-toe with the Buccaneers.
They have that quarterback, though. He's just got to be healthy.
Who's that, Alex Smith?
Alex Smith.
See the problem with Alex Smith. I believe he's 37 years old. How many years does he have left in him? Right? I mean, so I hate to say this, but you can say this about anybody. He is one hit away, but like he is one hit away from never playing ball again because of his age. Right?
I thought we already had that hit. I really did, but
yeah.
He's a tough dude. He really is.
He is.
And I get what you're saying, but the thing is, I don't think that Washington football team job is going to be open. They love Ron Rivera.
Well, no, I'm not saying it would be open. I'm just saying you give a tough matchup in them twice a year.
Oh, I thought you were saying the job opening. I was
the Giants aren't far away with a healthy Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Sure.
I actually have them going 8-8 this year with a healthy Saquon.
They're not far away. That NFC East and then the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that NFC East can be really good in about 2 years.
So I think one job that everybody is sleeping on is the Detroit Lions job. They have a lot of young pieces. They have a good tight end. They drafted DeAndre Swift. They still have Matthew Stafford. The only thing they are really missing there in Detroit is a cultural change. And who was their coach, the defense coordinator from the Patriots?
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, like he tried to install that, but I don't think Detroit gave them enough time to really implement the quote Patriot way there, right? They got rid of some of their pieces. They got rid of Golden Tate. They got rid of a Slay, right? The people that weren't buying in. So with that being said, I think the Detroit Lions job would be an intriguing job because of all the young pieces, but I wouldn't go there. I got to go with Combs. The Chargers, they probably have the best team already established. They are just missing that it factor, right? They are missing just that hey rah guy, and I think
they're missing a head coach.
Well, the
That's
rah guy. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, so guys, any closing thoughts before we head to a quick little break?
Go Pack, go.
Lock is not a good quarterback.
We're going to take a quick little break, guys. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk a little bit of Nickelodeon. That's right, Nickelodeon. Right here on the Man Hour, guys. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheischer along, the man, the myth, the legend themselves, Wyatt Williams and Brendan Combs, guys. It has been a great show. We've talked a little bit of Nick Saban. We talked some NFL and Doug Peterson. We talked some Major League Baseball as well. But let's continue our NFL talk. And over the weekend, the Nickelodeon TV channel. If you guys don't know what Nickelodeon is, it is a TV kids channel, right? That shows like the Rugrats and SpongeBob and kids shows, right? They broadcasted the Saints Bear games, and first of all, the first half of the broadcast I heard was terrible. I did not watch it whatsoever. I actually did turn it on. I actually did turn it on in the second half, and they had some pretty cool features. Like every time there was a flag, there was a kid that like popped up, and it explained what the penalty was, and like
who that kid was, Buck?
Yeah, it was the young Sheldon guy, which I actually love that show. It's actually a really good show.
I thought it was pretty good too.
Yeah, it just starts back up this week, I think, but nonetheless, guys, I digress. So the NFL, I think they've done this the last 3 years in a row. They have played a wild card game on Nickelodeon, tried to appease the younger audience, bring more fans into the games. Combs, baseball, like, let's be honest, is kind of a dying sport for the younger generation. It is an old timers game. Should Major League Baseball kind of look into this and maybe take a little bit of note from the NFL?
First things first. Baseball is not a dying sport, so you watch your tongue. Second of all,
first of all, the numbers don't lie. Basketball is more popular than baseball, and even hockey is more popular than baseball right now.
I think you need to re-look at your numbers, because the World Series drew more viewers than the NBA Finals did this year.
That was also because NBA was strung out for like a year and a half, and we were missing sports like at that particular time. So, come on, man. This year skewed.
At any rate, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, you go to, they did have some cool things. I was watching when they were showing when Wims had gone after the Saints D-back there. I can't remember his name. I think it wasn't Lattimore. He went after one of the Saints D-backs and started throwing punches, and they threw up a side-by-side and showed Patrick Starr punching SpongeBob in the face, and it was just, I mean, it was a great thing that they did. I do like what they brought to the table. They scored a touchdown, all of a sudden slime was all over the end zone and that type of stuff. So I don't see why not. I mean, it is a great way to market baseball. That's the one thing baseball does do a bad job is marketing their sport
to the younger generation. Yeah.
I would love to see, let's watch a Saturday game where the Braves are playing the Padres, and you have Acuna Jr. and Fernando Tatis Jr. on there, and, have them mic'd up for the game. I love when baseball players are mic'd up for the game, because then you get so much good stuff out of them. That's one of the big reasons why I love watching spring training games on ESPN. I think they could do a lot of good things with that.
Yeah, one of this generation's biggest knocks is the short attention span, because we have a TikTok that we watch for like a minute and we're on to the next, right? Like we need instant gratification. So I think that's why baseball is dying a little bit, because it is a slower game, right? Like as far as like in between action shots. So why you are the age of Nickelodeon kids? Do you want to see other sports pick up this Nickelodeon thing? Yes, simply because of Cordero Patterson. I mentioned this on the last episode, man. That was perfect. That is probably, other than SpongeBob, that is probably the hardest I've ever laughed at any Nickelodeon moment in my entire life, other than Patrick Starr on SpongeBob. When he looked at him and said that, it was perfect, because I had just tuned into the game to watch kind of how they were doing it. I mean, I didn't follow it along. I was still watching it on the other broadcast, but I thought Noah Eagle did a really good job calling that game. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Have you never watched Good Burger? You said you left the most at SpongeBob. You never seen Good Burger?
Good Burger's great,
Good Burger, home of the Good Burger.
I don't think Good Burger was on Nickelodeon, was it?
Good Burger most definitely was on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
That's where it started.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just making sure. So
started on All That. Remember that show, All That? Yeah.
I was in love with what's her name, Amanda Bynes, for like the longest time, and like yes. That was pre cocaine.
Even post cocaine, she's still kind of hot.
Isn't that how all child stars work out? Just like cocaine gets to them, and then you just kind of move on with life. Yeah. I mean, look at Disney characters. What is Miley Cyrus doing now?
I really don't know what she's doing, but she was
Exactly.
hot. She was hot,
Yeah.
wasn't she?
She could come at me like a wrecking ball. I'd say that much.
Alrighty, guys. We don't have the overlay for the 2-minute warning, but it is time for the 2-minute warning. Combs, are you ready?
I'm always ready.
2-minute warning.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
All right, guys. So 2-minute warning time. I'm going to talk baseball. You guys know what I'm coming at you with. Baseball is saying that they are sick of COVID. Rob Manfred's telling the people, get ready for 162 games. And we're not even going to require you to prove that you tested negative on a test. We're not going to require you to prove that you've had the vaccine. We're just going to sell pod seating and require you to wear masks at the stadium. I love it. Look, I'm telling you right now, I'll wear 5 masks if it gets me into Wrigley this year. I do not care. I did not get to go to Wrigley last year, my first year back home in Chicago in 20 years, and I didn't get to go to Wrigley. I was very disappointed. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what the baseball season has to bring. And I really, as much as I'm always down on Rob Manfred, because I do think he is the worst commissioner that this sport has ever had.
He's an idiot.
He is. He's terrible, but I do like what he's doing here. I really do. Get ready for 162 games. We're starting on time, and fans are in the stands. We lost too much money last year. We can't afford to do that again. So get ready for the games, and let's play some baseball, baby. I can't wait.
I love the mindset shift from Rob Manfred. Last year, as we were trying to get sports started back and all that stuff, it seemed like we were never going to watch another baseball game again in our life because Rob Manfred was like, no. And now he's like, hey, full season, let's wrap it up here. No mask.
Yeah, you know why?
Come
Because
hang
he
out at the
lost like
ballpark.
$1 million out of his paycheck because they couldn't afford. He was like, whoa.
What just? Oh, time for baseball to come back. Let's.
Yeah, part of me thinks that this is a ploy for him because I don't personally see how they get a 162 game season. I don't see how they start on time with COVID without having issues. I do think that if they play those first I do why is it red?
He's a ginger. He's a ginger. Come on, man.
So I
What's
just,
up, Jared?
Look, I think that if they go like the first, go through June, the end of June, only playing NL Central versus AL Central, NL East versus AL East, NL West versus AL West, and then branch out to allow more travel starting in July, I think that could work and get you 162 games. But if they're talking about traveling coast to coast, I know football did it for a complete season, but football plays once a week. Baseball plays every single damn day.
Yep.
So I don't know how they get 162 games in, but I do like where he's going with this. So
I like your attitude on it. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they can pull it off, but hey, they're going to do it, and I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, look, I'm
Baseball.
all for 162. Let's play 192. Let's go.
No, 80 games tops.
162 is definitely too much. I don't
All
know
right,
about
guys,
80.
that
I
is
think-
going to be it for the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhour.com, pick yourself up some merchandise, and as always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.